It says, "And do not neglect the Levites living in your towns, for they have no allotment or inheritance of their own. At the end of every 3 years, bring all the tithes of that year's produce and store it in your towns, so that the Levites who have no allotment or inheritance of their own, and the foreigners, the fatherless, and the widows who live in your towns may come and eat and be satisfied, and so that the Lord your God may bless you in all the works of your hands." So we'll start at the first. Do not neglect the Levites. The Levites were sort of mid-level priests, if you will, the people who were charged with taking care of the tabernacle, the traveling temple, before there was a temple, and all that went around with that. Setting it up, taking it down, maintaining it on a day in and day out level. They were responsible for tithing as well. They were to tithe to the priests. That's who they gave to. Add to that, then it says, feed the foreigner, the fatherless, and the widows. The Levites had no inheritance among the other 11 tribes. That was by design. People were supposed to take care of them every year. And, if you're having this feast, this tithe, invite a Levite. Bring them over to dinner. They live in all your areas, so invite them over. But then the foreigner, the fatherless, and the widow, some scholars, and I don't think they're quite on, but this will just be for shock value, they say that, okay, if you're supposed to collect 10% for the foreigner, the father, and the widow in the third year, and you're supposed to be collecting for the Levites, and then you're also supposed to collect just generally, in some cases, the tithe could be 30% in some years. Well, I don't know that that's exactly the case. It's not that clear of a picture. But the point that we get here is be generous with what God has given you to those around you who don't have. And if you read the text carefully, it doesn't just say give them enough so that they have enough to eat, so that they've got a meal a day. It says give them enough to be satisfied. That's what it says. Because that's what God does with us. Give us enough to be satisfied. Now provide them with food, provide them with the family to eat it with too in those times. Give them both of those things. Recognize God's love and grace on you by recognizing those around you who need that grace as well. Love those whom God loves. That's, I think, the third thing we pick up here.